Um, no, let's see Graham yet. Well, welcome everybody. Township Tuesday. Jeff Krieger, Executive Director. Yeah, we do definitely have a slim crowd today, but that is to be expected with a happy Super Tuesday going on today. I hope you're all going to get out and vote. Uh, I'm sure they all remember too that next Tuesday is Township Day, where we all have our annual event, annual meetings. I know my township does as well, and we're still in preparation for that. Township Day at the Capitol, again, is going to be April 8th and 9th. Oh, you're the administrator, not the actual judge. Got it. And I'm not sure how many people we have signed up right now. We do hope to have a good crowd coming over. So if you haven't made that decision yet, you still have plenty of time in order to sign up for Township Day at the Capitol. Then, of course, Spring Short Course is happening, was it March 18th through April 5th? And that's where we're going to have all the voting for the bylaw proposals that are going to be voted on during those 15 venues. If you have any questions regarding that, we will be talking about it, or there'll be a slight presentation beforehand. It'll be after lunch at each of the venues, and that's when you'll receive your ballot, and then you'll be able to have basically that afternoon until 15 minutes after the last presentation. In order to get your ballot in. So it'll be, a few hours that you'll have in order to make up your mind on that. But I know that we have on our website, we have the bylaws, the proposals as far as the red line version. So you have the current version, then red line with the proposals, so you can actually see and compare and contrast the differences. And then Steve also created a webinar, just a short education video, 10, 15 minutes long, that helps describe some of those things. So if you're more of an audio instead of a visual learner, that might help you as well. So, and Graham, I still don't see him on. I wonder if he's having some difficulties with his internet. There are supervisors that can't come. Will they be able to vote? Oh, okay. Yeah. So if people want to vote but they can't come, or if they can't stay for the whole thing, they can still come to the venue, and they just have to show up like around noontime, and they can still get a ballot. They don't have to pay, because they're not going to get food. They can't stay for any of the educational type things. If all they want to do is just come to vote, we definitely want to afford them that opportunity, but they will have to come to whatever closest venue they have, and that's near them, and do their voting at that time. Our venue is an hour drive away. Yeah, some of them are. I mean, for a lot of people, it's going to be a lot more convenient than if they were to come to the annual conference in St. Cloud. It's going to be a lot closer that way. Proxy voting is still available this year. I mean, it's been used so minimally in the past years, but it is still, it is available for this year. But that window has closed as of March 1st, last week Friday, and as far as getting any more proxies, and but those who have proxies currently, they can certainly exercise those proxies at the spring short courses. Any other questions on spring short courses or Township Day or anything I brought up? I see Graham is on now. I'll pass on to him if there aren't any other questions. Hearing none, seeing none. Graham, you're on. Welcome.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for your patience on this one. I don't know if Jeff has mentioned this, but the office is getting a bit renovated here. So I am in a place that has a much better connection than my home, but it involved a little bit of logistical farting around and took me a bit to get on here. So thank you for your patience.
Actually, Graham, I'm going to stop you. I appreciate you mentioning that, because I did forget to mention that. Just so you know, I mean, I know there's only a few people on here, but the office is going through a remodel. It has not been touched in probably 3 decades. And so we are going through a bit of a remodel that the board has approved. And we're very excited about that. And hopefully in a couple of months, it'll all be done. And we're looking forward to it. So sorry about that, Graham. Go for it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. And let me just go ahead and get started here. Obviously, Today is a pretty busy day for township officials, so I thought I would go with a fairly smaller one today. But this is a little bit of a lesser known topic. And what we are talking about today are the law of gifts as it relates to public officials. So this is an area that is pretty confused and pretty repetitive. And one issue that we see coming up is folks believing that this stuff does not apply to township officials, and there's a good reason for that, and that reason is Minnesota Statute 471.895, which is sort of the traditional prohibition on local officials getting gifts from anybody who's sort of in front of them, and that one very specifically does not include township officials, but that is not the end of the story, unfortunately, because this is one of those areas where the Minnesota legislature has sort of repeatedly enacted very similar prohibitions with like slightly different tweaks on them in different places. And the issue is that we are included in Chapter 10A. Now, of course, this isn't to talk about bribery or anything like that. Obviously, those prohibitions are big and serious, and that's in Chapter 609 at 609.42. If anybody has any questions about that, I'd be happy to talk about them. But this morning, this is about gifts specifically rather than, something of a more nefarious nature. So let's dive right into it. So what you're seeing on your screen today, right now, is Minnesota selection for Minnesota Statute 10 Cap A.071. Now, subdivision 2 is the one that I think we care about here. A lobbyist or principal may not give a gift or request another to give a gift to an official. An official may not accept a gift from a lobbyist or principal. Now, if you're anything like me, you might see that language and say, oh, okay, great. Don't care. I don't deal with lobbyists. I don't deal with principals. I don't deal with lobbyists. And hey, maybe I'm not even an official within the meaning of this statute. Unfortunately, I don't think it's that simple. So let me talk about why I think that. Okay, so we're going to talk about what a gift is. We're going to talk about who is an official and who is a lobbyist. And then we're going to talk about why it is that you might want to pay some attention to this. Gifts are pretty simple. It's basically anything of value. The ethics board has gone into some really extreme detail on this, and they have gone into some opinions that are frankly kind of just bonkers. So there's an example of a guy who was best man at somebody's wedding, and he gave a gift to the groom, and that was not okay because one of them was technically a lobbyist and one of them was technically employed by the Minnesota legislature. So basically anything that is of value. We saw our pretty breathtakingly expansive definition back there. Now, of course, the legislature being the legislature, they have done the hokey pokey on this, and it's sort of, they define everything as a gift and then they take certain things out. So you'll notice there are a couple of interesting ones here. Services to an assistant official in the performance of official duties. So if somebody's teaching you to use CTAS, that's not a gift. Here's another one that's pretty common. You may be wondering how it is legal for us to give the representatives, if you happen to be at one of the district meetings where we've given a state rep or a state senator a meal, how you might be wondering how that's legal. Well, the answer is said in here. Food or beverages given at a reception are okay if it's not held away from the recipient's place of work by an organization before whom the recipient appears to make a speech or answer questions as part of a program. So we have them up, we get them to talk. It's not part of their normal business, then that one's okay. But you have to be careful about this. If you're not finding a real exception here, it's pretty much anything of value. It counts as a gift. Now, who counts as an official? The short version is supervisors probably are. Clerks and treasurers probably are not. And that language comes from this. So this is Minnesota Statute 10 Cap A .01 subdivision 22. A local official means a person who holds an elective office, and that person has the authority to make or recommend or vote on as a member of the governing body major decisions regarding the investment of public money. So as usual, money is kind of the critical piece. If you can make financial decisions, then you probably count. That's why I tend to think supervisors probably count, clerks and treasurers probably do not. Okay, who counts as a lobbyist? So 10A.01 subdivision 21 says anybody who is engaged for pay for more than $3,000 from all sources in a year for the purposes of attempting to influence the official action of a public subdivision. And a principal is the person who hires the lobbyist, and that is somebody who spends more than $500 in the aggregate in any calendar year. So why am I bringing this up? Why do I think this potentially matters to us? So if you take a look at the prohibition here, a lobbyist or principal may not give a gift or request another to give a gift to an official may not accept it. Keep in mind how really, really low the thresholds are to count here. $3,000 for somebody who's trying to influence official action, $500 for the people doing the hiring. Let me see if I can give you an example, a little hypothetical about how tough this could be. So we've got a town resident who's hiring an attorney, and they want the town to take some official action. Maybe they want, the zoning code changed. Maybe they want a road vacated. And then, later on that same year, that guy sees you in a bar and offers to buy you a beer. Can you take it? One of the other things that's worth noticing is that this prohibition is broad, and there's not like a nexus between a specific decision and the gift being given, or even necessarily the organization being lobbied. So what about a big company that happens to have a branch in your town or near your town? These folks have a lobbyist full-time in St. Paul. Maybe they have a real lobbyist in DC, something like that. They have a Christmas party, and you happen to get a ticket for free. Can you take it? And I think in both cases, the answer is arguably no. But there is some good news here. And that good news is so there's a Minnesota state law has provided an ethics board for folks who are potentially bound by this law. And you can call them if you're facing a real or hypothetical situation. And if you follow their advice, then you can't get in trouble. So right here, you've got the contact information for that board up there, just in case anybody wants to take a look at this thing. If you feel like you're getting potentially close to something, shoot them an email, give them a call, get a written opinion, and then you will be safe. And quite frankly, I'm encouraging as many people as I can to do this, because if we annoy them enough, they might make their limits a little bit more reasonable, or they might make more serious efforts to take us out of the ambit of some of these statutes. So, okay, that's my presentation on gifts and public officials. All right, looks like Jeff is talking to folks here. Has anybody got any questions that they would like to shoot to me here?
Also, one thing I'd like to comment on, sorry, Graham, is if any of you have topics that you'd like to see presentations in the future on, please feel free to email Graham, email myself, Steve, Maddie, and because obviously we want to give relevant information that you are interested in hearing about. So if you have any ideas, please feel free to shoot those over to us, and so we can take those under consideration and maybe make that for a future Township Tuesday, or even something in Matt U at a later date. So
now this one, I'll admit, this one is a little bit of a weird one. I found this law kind of surprising, and obviously it's not exactly like there's a dragnet out for township officers who are accepting beers from township citizens here, but I see it as fundamentally our job to make sure that folks don't take legal risks on accident. So knowing that there's this prohibition out there that potentially embraces us, even though there are similar ones that do not, is just one of those things. If you get close to the situation, I just want that little antenna to go up. Hey, maybe I need to ask a question about this, because that's, how you stay out of trouble. So, all right, I see a chat here. All right. Well, in any event,
yep, not seeing anything.
Fair enough. All right, folks. Well, I hope this was at least a little bit interesting, and thank you for your time, for your attention. Jeff, have you gotten anything else?
I should be good for right now. We'll see everybody at Spring Short Courses, and have a great Township Day next Tuesday. And we'll see y'all soon. Take care, everybody.